What's going on? What's happening to the Black conscious community? Um, I don't know if this one's gonna apply to older blacks, blacks older than me, especially the intellectual types, because they probably already know this stuff. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Um, Black people, um, it's okay to educate yourself. It's okay to go above and beyond the usual requirements, especially if you're in middle school or high school. It's okay. You can educate yourself. If you have a curious mind and your mind wanders and you're really curious about history, your ancestors' history or where you come from as a person, it's okay. It's okay to educate yourself on that stuff because I notice a lot of blacks, especially the ones around my age, they don't really go the distance as far as to learn about history besides what the schools, middle school, high school teaches you. A lot of them is just contempt, and they really don't educate themselves or go above and beyond the usual requirements. They kind of just sit still and just, I guess they take everything their teachers teach them as gold and just go roll with that. And they don't really take the initiative to, educate themselves on history. Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Nat Turner, um, and a multitude of other great blacks that tried to make a change in the game. Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, and um, Ida B. Wells, and a multitude of other blacks. They don't really go that far. They kind of just content with what they've been taught with. I know for me, I guess it's a blessing that I love history so much because I couldn't get enough of it, especially when I was in middle school and high school. I love history so much that I just couldn't get enough of it. So I guess it's a blessing and a curse. But I notice a lot of them just don't. They don't care. They just don't care about it. They kind of is just content with what they have right now. Um, and it's not just younger blacks, it's older blacks too. A lot of older blacks are just content and they don't really take the initiative to educate themselves or to try to learn about Africa or whatnot. I know especially where I'm from, um, slavery was the beginning and that was it. That was it. Slavery was the beginning, kind of like the Bible in the Book of Genesis or in Adam and Eve. That's what I was taught my whole life. Slavery, slavery, slavery. Especially where I'm from, slavery was the beginning, and that's it. I was always curious about Africa and the people before they got on the boat and they got on the ship and had to do that long turbulent voyage to America. But it was really frowned upon, especially where I come from, and especially around my peers. A lot of them just simply didn't care about that stuff. So that kind of pulled me away for a little bit. But to make a long story short, I became more curious about that stuff. And I'm not gonna say I know everything, but I'm still learning to this day. But it's actually kind of fun. I don't know. It's just me. I love history. But black people, it's okay to educate yourself. If you really, really want to, you can do that. No, you don't have to. You don't have to wait for somebody to put a book in your hand and say, "Oh, read this, read that." If you want to, do it. You know. That's why I like some of the YouTubers that they send me like videos. Send me mind blowing videos where I learn something new. Matter of fact, I saw a video about this Nigerian, I think mathematician. He discovered like I forgot what it was, but it was a pretty interesting vid. And then I was sent another video about the false images of Christ. That was pretty interesting too. I kind of wondered about that because I heard about it for a while, but seeing a video about it really was pretty cool. But yeah, black people, it's okay to educate yourself. It's okay to go above and beyond the usual stuff, and then don't worry about what your peers think. If they don't like it, then that's them. But yeah, it's okay to educate yourself. Learn about your history. Learn about where you come from as a person. Get self knowledge. Get a lot of knowledge, because a lot of us, we don't have a lot of self knowledge. We don't really have a clue to where we come from as a person. We kind of been just taught to say, hey, this is where you come from, and that's it. No, it's like white folks. They say, hey, this is where you come from. This is who you are. This is who you are as a person, and that's it. You're monkeys. And a lot of people just say, oh, okay, okay, that's fine. And it's like we don't challenge anything. We just sit back and say, we just chill like a villain on the side and say, okay, that's fine, fine, okay, we accept it. But we don't challenge it. We don't. A lot of black people just don't take the initiative to educate themselves. So I encourage, blacks to start educating themselves more and try to understand, try to get more of a self-discovery of who you are as a person, your history. Understand, that you have a precious history, and that's really all I have to say. So, that's all, people, and y'all have a good one. Until next time. Later.